Welcome to Global Insiders Podcast. I am Ryan, the peripatetic one, bringing you information about opportunities relating to jobs, traveling, and any information that can elevate you to your rightful place in this thing called life. You can find more information and how to methods on globalinsidersgroup.com. That is insiders with an S. And here is today's show. Hello, insiders. Today I have a man who has a very interesting story. His story will show us that it is important to have an open mind when you have to make important decisions. Life comes with changes, and with each change, we must be ready to choose. So continue doing what you are and enjoy this episode. Welcome to the show, Gustavo.
Hello.
Please introduce yourself to the insiders.
Hey, thank you, Ryan. My name is Gustavo Navas. I have 26 years old, and this is my third year in Japan, living in Japan.
Okay.
I am I am from Venezuela.
Um,
hmm
what type of kid were you?
I was a really happy kid. That's what my family used to say. Even my sister sometimes tell me like she used to hit me because I was too happy, like I should cry more.
So,
Even now she says like sometimes like that, like in a more like a more lovely an anecdote. Maybe my grandmother used to call me the smiling prince
yes.
because I was always like smiling and having fun and making jokes. I think that was like what I used to do when I was a kid.
Okay, okay. Cool, cool. So, I mean, were you into like books or were you into like anime or something like that?
Oh well, I think I'm more into videos like movies, anime also, like books. Of course, I have read books, but I think I'm more into the visual, like looking at images and listening, especially listening. I think it's one of the things that I like like seeing both like together. So movies and series are things that I used to enjoy a lot. Even like when I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of cartoons, like even American cartoons. It was one of the first things I did,
Yes.
and yeah, it was really fun. Like the only problem is like it were like really early in the morning, so I used to laugh a lot, and my sisters were angry, like, "Hey, stop laughing! Like it's 7 a.m. in the morning," and stuff like that.
Okay, you're the only boy in your family? Like,
Yeah, I
okay,
have three sisters.
okay, awesome, awesome. Are you the eldest or what?
I'm the third,
Okay, you're the third. All right, cool.
two older sister and one younger.
Okay, nice, nice. All right, so moving to Japan. I mean, why move to Japan?
Well, that's an interesting story
Yes.
because it all started like 12 years ago
Okay, good.
when I was in Venezuela and I was walking around the street and I find like a magazine that they were talking about cars. But the car and the cover was, if you later want to search for it, is called the Nissan Peebo 2. It's a concept car, and I was like really intrigued by the car because like this car looks like a toy, but it's a real car.
Yes.
Why? So I buy the magazine, and it was like an article about the Tokyo Motor Show of 2007.
Okay.
And I start reading that article, and I got fascinated on how Japanese cars are so different from the ones that I used to see there in Venezuela, that are mostly like more like commercial cars, not like concept cars.
Yes.
So in that moment, I took my decision. Well, two decisions in that moment. First, I wanted to learn, like to learn engineering, to study mechanical engineering.
Yes.
So then the second thing, I could go to Japan and create cars.
I like that. I like that very much. And I mean, and you were like what, 18 at the time?
No, it was 14.
Ah, 14. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Yeah, and you're making that big decision off that right away.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
So, the actual move. I mean, how did you make that happen?
Well, from that moment until when I actually came was like quite a lot of time because of course, there are like maybe people know about it, the Mombukakusho scholarships. We call it the MEXT scholarships. In Venezuela, they are quite popular, especially for people involved in Japan and Japanese culture and that kind of things. So I wanted to apply as an undergraduate, like to do undergraduate here in Japan. But my dad, my father told me, no, you study in Venezuela because if things go wrong in Japan and you have a degree there, you come back and then like the degree is not going to be like the same value as if you are an Venezuelan because of course like different country, different culture. So probably if you have to work in Venezuela, at least you have a degree from Venezuela.
Yes.
So he told insist me to study my undergraduate there. So then I decided to do it, and I think it was a wise decision
Yes.
because in the end, like in the level of education as classes, Venezuela is better than Japan.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Okay.
And but still, Japan is way better. Like, and that's what's the main thing why I came is in research.
Oh, okay.
Research is really really strong here. Like one of the like basically Europe, Japan, and US are basically the main places to do research in the academy in university level. So when in 2014, like almost was like 8 years, 8 9 years after the no 7 years after the magazine episode, I saw the opportunity to come here when in my university had an agreement of an exchange program with Tohoku University and another university in Nagaoka Prefecture in Niigata Prefecture in Nagaoka City. But I decided to go to Tohoku University because it was first like better position on rankings, international rankings, well-known university here in Japan. Second, I could receive a scholarship, a different one, not the MEX, called Yaso. And third, it seems like it was a nicer place to live here in Sendai than in Niigata, in a really rural place like Nagaoka.
Yes.
And in September, end of September of 2014, I started my 1 year exchange in Sendai. So I lived almost for a year, like 11 months here in Sendai, studying and learning more. So I fell in love with the city. I fell in love with what they do here, and I came back in 2017 after the exchange, and I graduated from Venezuela, from my Venezuelan university.
Okay, so it was a 1 year exchange. All right, good.
Yes,
What's the name of that of the scholarship again? Yaso.
the one that I took in the moment when I came here the first time is Yaso.
Yaso. And
It's also from it's from the Ministry of Education. But since 2017, when I came here, like for the second time, I took the MEXT Mombuka Kusho scholarship.
okay. Can you tell me what's the requirements for the Yaso? Do you know?
I think I should better speak more about MEXT. JASO is a little bit more like related with like, let's say like partner to partner universities. Let's,
Okay.
for example, say that a university in a country is wants to come to Japan, so you receive JASO. But MEXT scholarship doesn't have that requirement. So I think I should explain more MEXT.
Okay, sure, no problem. Please, if you can.
Okay,
Yeah.
so MEXT scholarship is a really difficult one, but a really good one because it's difficult because of the competition.
Yes.
Countries like India or like Pakistan or like really popular like Southeast Asia, Indonesia, a lot of people apply, and you have a lot of opportunities because they have like maybe like 20 people that they can select every year, but over 1,000, maybe even 10,000 people apply. So it's like really difficult to get in some countries. In mine also, like sometimes I feel that 100 people apply and only five can go.
Oh,
But
wow. Wow.
yeah, so it's not an easy one, but the thing is that just the MEX has, the Mambukaku show has, is that they pay you everything. They pay you the the plane ticket from your country to Japan. They pay you their tuition fees. They pay you the admission fees. They pay you all the semesters. They pay you every month 146,000 yens if you are a master student. Well, around that for everybody. Like every month for your living expenses.
Wow.
You don't have to return anything
Wow,
to the
wow.
to the to the government. There is a condition
Yes.
that you have to go back home, but that's also like they are really flexible with that, because if you want to stay in Japan, you can stay in Japan, with the condition, of course, in that in some moment you should use your knowledge to go back to your home country and use it. But it doesn't mean that you don't have to do it in the moment after you finish your program.
Yeah.
The applications usually happens around this time, like in June. It depends. You have to search if you want to apply. You have to search on your home embassy, like a Japanese embassy in your home country, because each place varies depending on where you apply. Let's say, for example, I apply in Venezuela, maybe in June 15 is when is the deadline. But in Germany, maybe they did it on June 1st, or maybe in US it's on June 30th. So you have to search at the web page of your home page of the Japanese embassy in your home country to search about that information. And usually it takes like a year. Like you
Okay.
apply this year and you go to Japan in April of 2020,
Okay.
and that's how it happens. There are applications for like around April to June, and maybe from October to December, and usually it's like 1 year. Some people may have like 6 months, but it depends. Like it depends on the program. Usually it's 1 year
Okay. So
between the application and coming to Japan.
nice. So what about the level of Japanese? Do you have to know? You have to be fluent in order to apply for this next or what?
No, actually, no. You can come here without knowledge of Japanese at all,
Okay.
and that's a good thing, because the university where you apply, you can have classes to learn from very basic levels. You can learn Japanese. Like if you don't know how to read hiragana or katakana, there are the basic scripts for the Japanese language. They will teach you from that point onwards. So I think like Japanese is not necessary, but English is, of course, like you're going to need English for sure. So if
Okay.
you are not confident in your English, you should learn a little bit more of English just in case.
Okay. How was your Japanese before coming to Japan? Before going
And the first time it was really bad.
to Japan? Okay.
Yeah, like the first one was really bad, but the second time when I came here, of course, I already been living here for a year and I was keeping my level quite well. So in this case, I was more like the senpai, the senior. So I could tell the people, hey, this is this play. Oh, here, let's go here. Or I can translate when people get lost. So
Okay.
right now, I mean, I can speak Japanese fluently, or
Yes.
at least I think. So
Okay.
yeah, it's
Very
still learning,
Yeah.
because it's not an easy language, but I enjoy it.
Okay. Good. So I mean, did anything surprise you when you arrived in Japan? Like when your first time.
Oh,
Let's take it back to the very first time.
I don't know if that happens to you, Ryan, but the first time you never forget your first experience of Japan, right?
Right.
It's
Right. Right.
like
That's true.
for me, it's like I may have forget whatever I did on that first month, but I
Yes.
will never forget my first night in Japan.
Yes.
It's like overwhelming. It was my first time traveling outside, my first time traveling on an airplane, my
Oh
first
wow.
time traveling
Wow.
alone.
Wow.
So combine all these three things, and you get a really cocktail of people like this in despair and really afraid of everything.
Ah. Yes. Yes. I can imagine.
So even though that like I was kind of prepared, mentally prepared, I had to spend a lot of time waiting to come to Japan, because I was going to come, like, let's say September 23rd, but I was going in a route from my city hometown Caracas through
Yes.
Paris. and then from Paris to Tokyo.
Oh.
And for some reason, the Air France company, the pilots start striking like
Ah.
for a month,
Mm.
precisely on the month that I have to go, and I got delayed twice. My airplane, the airplane never came in that day where I should have ride it, and then like a different day it also happened like the same. They canceled the flights. Finally, on the third try, I could ride it,
Yes.
and I had to spend 14 hours on a layover in Paris,
Yes.
which is really really long.
Yes, it is. It is.
Basically, I arrive at like 9 a.m. and I ride the airplane at 11 p.m.
Mm.
And I made the mistake that I didn't sleep much on my first flight. So I basically slept like nothing, and I spent like 30 hours awake because my biological clock was like it's 9 a.m. Like outside was 9 a.m., but in Venezuela was like maybe like 8
Yes.
p.m.
Yes.
No, sorry, maybe like 12 a.m., something like that. So I was still awake, but I was really tired. So I had to spend 14 hours plus 14 hours
Mm.
trying to be awake alone, afraid because I don't understand anything on French.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And when I finally ride my plane, I could sleep. I think like I slept like easily. The flight is like 12 hours. I think I slept like 10.
Mm.
When I arrived to Tokyo,
Yes.
I was fascinated, of course, like, oh yeah, I'm in Japan. But then like the first thing happened, the first bad thing happened. When I arrived to the belt, the conveying belt for my luggage wasn't there. I was
Oh.
like, oh, why? So yeah, like I couldn't find it. They sent it on a different
Ah.
plane because they I don't know. I spent 14 hours in Paris and they cannot put my luggage in the correct airplane. It seems so. So at the end, I say, okay, well, I give you my key of the lock, so you can open it and you check and everything, and then like they say that they will send it to me to Sendai. So okay, no problem. I don't even have to pay for that. So I go out of the. I was in Haneda airport.
Yes.
I go out, and of course, I was supposed to meet a friend, well, an acquaintance. He later became my friend, an acquaintance of a friend,
Yes.
and he told me let's meet in. I was told him like let's meet in Haneda, but then when I was in Paris, he told me, well, I'm not going to make it in Haneda, but let's meet somewhere where you want. Like, tell me a place and we meet there. And I tell him, let's go to meet in Shibuya because I want to take a picture with Hachiko and I want to take a
Ah. Okay.
picture of the crossing. I was like, yeah, I mean, like my first experience in Japan, I need to go and see Shibuya.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So, okay. My friend said, okay, let's go. Let's meet there.
So let's
Just
let's
let
let's
me
stick
know.
up.
And
Let's stick up in. So I mean, were you up on Japanese culture back home?
yeah, like I learned. I took classes of Japanese and I have learned by myself, of course. Like cultural, especially history. I like history.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that I really enjoy, like to learn how things like samurai eras here in Japan and stuff like that, and of course the the traditional now like more modern pop culture of Japanese pop culture. So that's
Okay.
why I knew okay I have to go to Shibuya and
Okay.
Hashiko.
Yes, that's what I was just trying to find out. If I mean, if you had an interest before actually coming there.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So please continue with that story. So your friend, meeting your friend.
In yeah, like I planning to meet him in Shibuya.
Yes.
So, but the problem is, of course, I'm alone. I read
Ah.
the stuff in Haneda, like, okay, I know that I have to exchange money in the airport because it's the cheapest rate, so I could exchange basically all my cash. Uh, then I pay for a payphone to call my friend, tell him I'm here, like, where should I go? Because it's like 30 hours of flights and layovers. Like, I'm really tired. I'm not thinking much. So I go to the payphone and he didn't reply. My friend didn't pick up. So I'm really afraid, like, okay, what should I do? Should I call him again? Should I go there? Then okay, well, if I go, where do I go? So I ask and they tell me, well, there is a train here, like the monorail. Like you can take that one and then you can go to the place where you want to go. Okay. Well, let's see. I have to go? It's like to Shibuya. But if you live here in Japan, you know that Shibuya and Shinjuku are quite close,
Yes.
and even the kanjis are really different. When you have 30 hours of crossing the basically half of the world, not sleeping much, Shibuya and Shinjuku in English sounds basically the same. So I was like, oh shit, which one is the one that I need to go? And I select Shibuya, thinking, okay, well, like it's 50-50. It's like throwing a coin. I choose Shibuya, and if not, I have to go to Shinjuku.
Yes.
And maybe this was the only time I ever regret coming to Japan.
Mm.
It was like how afraid I was. I was riding that monorail, and I was like, I should have come here. I should have stayed home. I should have stayed home. I was like that.
Yeah.
But then it happened like the complete opposite, the euphoria of being in Japan, because I saw two things.
Yes.
One thing was the Rainbow Bridge. It was night,
Yes.
and the Rainbow Bridge gets illuminated with, of course, the color of the rainbow and really white move, like a white motif on the structure. And I got fascinated, like, oh, I have seen this bridge before.
Yes.
And then the second thing that I saw, that was the one that made me realize that I'm in Japan, was Tokyo Tower.
Okay.
In red, in that bright red, like it's something impressive. And like you're just arriving and you just see like that iconic structure. You're like, oh my god, I'm in Japan.
Yes.
And then from basically depression, I went to the food. I make the change somehow to get to the JR lines, and then I get to Shibuya. And my friend, because in Paris, he told me, let's meet at the Hachiko Gate. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like Hachiko Gate should be the name of the place. And when I arrived to Shibuya, then I don't remember what's the name of the gates, but imagine that it's like East Gate, Central Gate, West Gate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, Hachiko, shit, it's Shinjuku, oh my god, what should I do? Ah! So I called my friend, another payphone, and he picked up. I'm like, hey, what happened? And like, I don't know where I am. I'm almost crying. Like, I don't know where I am. I don't know. I'm in Shibuya. Like, you're in Shibuya. Yeah, but I don't know. Like, but I don't know. I don't want to know. Where are you? Central Gate. Okay, wait there. And then like, I never met this guy. But I have my like, he's from Venezuela, and I have my T-shirt of Venezuela soccer team.
Yes.
And of course, everybody's in Japan. Like most Japanese people in that moment, like that was 2014. Like the amount of foreigners here in Japan was not like the level as right now. So basically, it was mostly Japanese people. So when I see a guy that looks like, of course, like Latin American, like I see him and it's like, are you this guy? Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah. And then we go in together. From that moment on, relax.
Okay, good.
But that was really stressful. So in the end, yeah, like we get out on the Hachiko Gate, that is like maybe like in the West Gate, like one of the gates named, like one of the entrances is the Hachiko Gate.
Yeah.
So I went out there, and then like I took my picture. I went through Shibuya. I drank my first Starbucks, because we don't have Starbucks in Venezuela.
Okay.
In Shibuya crossing, and then we went back home, and it was really cool.
Okay.
It was really cool.
So I mean, you really got going immediately. I mean, trying to figure out things, trying to just understand the new place that you're in. Like, I mean, it's not like you didn't even get any chance to say, like, you didn't have a guide or anyone to help you get around.
No.
Yeah, you're in it. You're just in it right from the get go. Wow.
Yeah, it was like
Intense.
that. It was like that.
Intense, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you can read, but in the end, it's like it's like reading the theory and then doing the practice. It's like, okay, you can read everything, and the people, like, of course, 2014, maybe YouTube is not that well spread. There are not much YouTubers and stuff.
Yes.
So you have some ideas, but you don't have the good idea of like being there. And
No.
I think even if you can read all or see all the videos that you may have seen, in the end, when you are like exhausted as I was, nah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you're going to be afraid and terrified.
Nice. By the way, was it difficult to get a visa to come to Japan? Is it difficult for Venezuelans to get a visa to come to Japan?
No, if you have a reason.
Okay.
That's the main thing. Like if you want to come to travel and stuff and you don't have any other references, like, yeah, it's going to be difficult, because you're going to have to say basically all your itinerary You have to say your hotels, where you plan to go, all these places you want to visit. Like it's kind of difficult.
Okay.
But when you come here, or like if you have some friend here living in Japan, he can apply to the certificate of eligibility,
Yes.
or they call it. And with that one, you can basically, it's like an invitation. Like you don't have to say much more than like somebody's going to invite you to come. And in both cases was the Hokkyu University.
Yeah.
So basically, I like, particularly for me, it wasn't difficult,
Okay.
but because I have reasons.
All right.
If you
So,
come to as a tourist, it's like that. You have to probably have it a little bit more tough.
okay. Understood. Thank you. I mean, what advice do you have for people who are thinking about doing the same course to move to Japan, like trying to apply to the MEXT scholarship
Oh,
to get into Japan?
well, people think that it's really the most difficult part is the exam or is the interviews, because you have first to send papers, then you have the exam that is depending on what you're applying, it can have like more like math contents and stuff. That's more like for undergraduate. But for people going to do masters or PhDs, you have to take English and Japanese. Like English is mandatory, Japanese is optional. But
Okay.
of course, if you take Japanese, your scores should go higher. And finally, you have an interview, or you have one or two interviews depending on the country, maybe one or two. In the end, people try to figure out, oh well, the interview is more important. The interview, like, no, the most important thing are your papers, and especially one point, that is the the plan that you want to do here.
Yeah.
They insist that if you have really good grades, if you have like all the Japanese knowledge, but if your project is not good, or your project is really dumb, or your project is really general, that's one of the biggest issues. If it's too general, like I want to study birds, like, okay, what type of birds? I don't know birds. It's like, no, you have to tell, like, what do you want to study about birds? Like bird behavior when they are in winter, birds when they, like, how they procreate in northeastern Japan. Like, kind of like, you have to go to a specific thing. But that's the other thing, you don't have to be that specific. Like, you don't say, like, you have like a project, but you say, like, specifically I'm going to be doing this. There is a chance that you copy it from somebody else. So it's more like you have to pick up a topic, explain it in your own words, but without being so specific on how you plan to attack it. Like how you like what techniques you are going to do, or what are the results that you're going to expect, because you're going to do that project here. So if you already know which results you're going to have, then why do you choose that project? Because somebody may probably already did it.
Yes.
So maybe that's the thing, like to find the perfect balance to have a good project with with without being like too specific. So if people want to apply, I must say that that's the most important thing. All the rest, you can have good or bad things, but in the end, they will. If you have a good project, you will probably get it.
All right. That sounds good to me. So make sure that you have a good project, and you can explain what you want to do, and that should get you. All right. Nice.
Yeah,
Um, what's your current situation in Japan? Are you in school? Are you working?
I am right now studying my master's. I mean, my second year, my last year.
Okay.
But I already applied and I already got accepted in a to work in Saitama.
Oh, okay.
That's yeah. Next year in April, I will go to work. Like it's not completely official yet, but like at least I got like the matching with this company.
Yes.
This month I should receive at least the pre-contract. So
Okay.
in
How,
April next year, I will move to Saitama.
so how do students go about doing that? Getting matched with a company?
Wow, that maybe one of the most difficult things I have done here in Japan was to find a matching.
All
Like
right.
that's
Let's
also
hear
like a really
it.
yeah. In I must say I was kind of I tried to learn. There are many people trying to explain you what to do, where to do, how to do it. There are books, there are videos that can tell you how, but in the end, like you're never prepared. I must say.
Mm,
Like Japanese culture in this case is like so defined, and making one simple mistake can cost you like the whole interview. In my experience as a student from Tokyo University, there are also things that are different compared with other places. So, like if you are planning to apply, you are in Shiba University, in Tokyo University, in Osaka University, or even in Tohoku University, but not in mechanical engineering, is going to be different. But this only applies for me because I studied there. Because in my case, like as an engineering student, you can apply as with recommendation from the university, which makes a reduction of the steps that you have to apply if you apply like freely or normal applications that probably most of the people from humanities has to do. So the recommendation of the university reduces, for example, from 3 interviews to one, from 3 exams to one, something like that. Like make it faster.
Yeah.
But my university, specifically my department, insists that you can only apply to 3 companies using that system. Other places say you only apply to one. Other places may say that you just ask for recommendations and they give it to you like if it's like fresh bread. Like, I don't know. But in my case, was only you can apply to 3 at the same time for this application. No more, none less. And there is only a list of companies where you can apply for the recommendation. Let's say that Toyota is in the list, but Sony wasn't in the list.
Okay.
So if I want to go to Sony, then I have to apply it as a general student without recommendation of the university. So I applied for 7 companies in the end. I didn't apply for 3 because I got rejected in 5. Yeah, and that was the thing that was the most difficult part because you go to a lot of things. You do a lot of applications. You do internships, which I recommend you to do if you want to come to Japan. You have to do internships. You have to go to events by the companies that you like. And like internships, like we can talk a little bit later about that because it's not an internship as an internship we Westerners have. It's a little bit different. But you do all these steps, you can get prepared to actually go and try to apply with the companies. The companies, as I told you before in my story, it's basically mostly car companies.
Yes.
So I applied with them, and it happened that I made a mistake in my applications. The mistake was that I was being first too specific of what do I want to do.
Just to stick up in, this application is in Japanese, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In this case, if you don't have a Japanese level, you are limited to with basically foreign companies in Japan.
Okay.
And foreign companies, even foreign companies can be kind of difficult too because they will ask you for Japanese level. It has to be like really international company, like let's say a startup made by international people or something like that. In this case, unfortunately, I must say for your listeners, if you don't have Japanese in here in Japan and trying to find a job, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be extremely hard.
That's understandable.
Yeah. Like so for example, when I was applying, you have to write a lot of things in Japanese. That goes from simply your address in Japanese to basically what do you want to do in our company? What is your motivation to come here in our company? And I made a lot of mistakes making that, specifically those parts, like what do I want to do? I think that was the thing that I made like the most mistakes because I was trying to apply for engineering work or more like engineering. No, let's retake that idea. I was trying to apply more like into a humanities, like more like trying to create a little bit more like the planning on what products to do. But the people wanted more engineers, like design, like already the humanities decide which product. So engineers start designing how to make this product, which are the features of the product, or something like that. So they call that Shoinkikaku, the one from humanities more point of view, while the other is Kaihatsu or Kenkyu Kaihatsu. They call it like that, or Sekkei. So these two are like they are difficult to find which like both needs scientific, both need engineers, but most people go first to Kaihatsu and Sekkei to planning and development, and then they go to Shoinkikaku.
Okay.
And that was my big issue. I first applied as saying I'm going to go to Kaihatsu. But then I went to the interview and I say I want to go to Shoinkikaku. And they are like, oh no, but we want the Kaihatsu. Then I applied basically saying I want to go to Shoinkikaku. And then I went to interview saying I want to go to Shoinkikaku. And then the interviewers were like, oh, we want more Kaihatsu. So I was like saying
Confused.
I want to go to A, and they were saying, oh, sorry, but we want B, basically.
Yes.
So then I made my corrections. I apply again with other companies. And then it happened one of the things that hurt me the most. I'm not going to say the name of the company, of course, but I applied with the company. I did my interview. I did everything as I could.
Yes.
And in the end, they asked me a question like, are you willing, you want to work in English? And I was like, oh yeah, like I would like to work in English, but even if my condition like if I like I would like to apply to work that I could do in English, of course, like I can use my English.
Yes.
And I also said like, but if I have to work in Japanese, I will do my biggest effort.
Yes.
Later, the next day, that company called and they told me, we are sorry, we're not going to select you. If you want to work in English, go to A, B, or C company.
Ah, okay.
So basically, in the interview, when they asked me, do you want to work in English? And I say yes, but I said yes. It's like kind of like, oh, we have an issue here.
Yes.
And what is the issue? When you're applying, as in my case, with a recommendation of the university and the company agrees that if I'm going there, they have to fulfill all my requirements and my desires. Let's say if I want to say I want to work in English, in that company I should go to a department where they use English.
Yes.
And usually in Japan, and maybe outside in the world, I don't know, but usually in Japan you don't select where you go. The department is selected later after a practice that you have, a training that you have months later after you enter to the company. So saying I want to work in English is putting to a risk because maybe the departments with English they don't need people.
Yes.
Maybe they are okay.
Yes.
So if they accept me and then I say I'm not working in English, I can complain with the university and there can be a fight, like an impasse between the university and the company because they didn't fulfill my requirement.
Yes.
So that's the thing that I learned, and I should have learned it like not a month after I start my job hunting.
Yes.
Because I was like, I made a lot of mistakes, like saying I want to do A when they wanted B,
Yes.
and being too specific of what I wanted to do. So finally, I apply with the company that I'm planning to go now. That is a German company, but has a research department here in Japan. They create parts of cars, and I apply with them basically knowing already all these kind of things, like not being specific on which language I want to use or not being too
Yeah.
specific of what type of job I want to do. And
Yes.
basically, whatever they told me, I should have replied yes. Like, you want to do this? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. And in the end, I got the offer.
Yes. As I said,
So,
yeah.
mhm.
As I said at the start, I mean, it's all about having an open mind. I mean, you went
Yeah,
into it not knowing, and no one can fault you at that. But at the end of it, you just have to have an open mind.
yes, yes, yes. So in the end, like it took me more than most of the people because in my thanks of the system of my university, in 1 month and a half, you are already finished.
Yes.
But it took me for me 2 months,
Okay.
basically. Like 2 months, a little bit more, like almost 2 months and a half, almost,
All right.
just to get to the application because it was like that hard to get it.
All right.
It's limited because of that. Like getting the recommendation is the best, but then like you're limited to what the university can offers you, and there is an extension for those, and that's what I took. And this application in the end went like that. Like I I had to wait a little bit more, but I think I sooner or later I will receive my 99 day. That is like the pre-contract.
Yes.
Like, well, this month I should receive it.
Okay. Well, I hope it all works out well. Can you just
Yeah,
spend a minute talking about the internship?
Okay, internships in Japan are not internships. Let's get clear with that.
All right.
Internship in Japan, the longest internship you may find is a month,
Oh, really?
and if
Oh.
you're really really lucky, like
Oh.
that's not an internship.
Yes.
That's maybe like a small stay in the
Yes.
company.
Yes.
The internships I made was 1 day internships. You can imagine, and not even one day. Sometimes.
I had no idea. I mean,
Mhm.
when you said it, I had no idea that this is where it was heading. Okay. Okay.
Yes. Basically, it's more like a visit to the plant rather than an internship. But
Yes.
Japanese people call it internship, so okay, it's an internship.
It's an,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like why do you call it like that? Anyway, usually the internships they have 2 seasons of internships. The first season of internship is starting right now. You have to apply now in June, and then you go to do the internship in end of August, beginning of September.
yeah.
Let's say that you maybe mid August until mid September is the period where most people go there. That's usually the longest ones, like maybe 1 month, 2 month, 2 weeks. 2 weeks is the normal one, the average one. I didn't do that. I didn't apply for that one because I was a little bit busy,
Yeah.
and I didn't do it. And then the second one are the winter internships. The winter internships are usually in February, and before the actual start of the job hunting season that is in March the first. The biggest issue here is that going for internships in winter, usually they don't pay you. Like you will apply, you can go, but if you have to go, for example, from Sendai to Tokyo, you have to pay by yourself.
Okay.
On the other hand, on the summer ones, if you are going to stay 2 weeks in the Toyota plant in Aichi, in Nagoya, in Toyota City, they are going to pay you for working there, their trip. You can stay at one of the residences or a hotel. It depends on what the company decides. So usually, like the best ones, if you want to learn more, spend more time, is are the summer ones, but the winter ones are better if you want to apply for a company and the company offers an internship.
Okay.
I did that with, of course, I failed, but I did with at least 3 companies that I applied for internships with them, and then I went to those companies to do their procedures, like for applying for the job. Like I say, unfortunately, I failed, but I mean, at least I got the experience.
Definitely. And I mean, yeah. I mean, now you're on to bigger, better things. So I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Good. So let's just change pace a bit and talk a little bit about traveling. So have you gotten the opportunity to travel while living in Japan?
Traveling around Japan?
Traveling around Japan or traveling outside of Japan? I mean, both.
Well, I really haven't been outside Japan in these past few years because I mean the situation in Venezuela is not that good.
Yeah.
So I never had really like the opportunity to travel, and I never had the money to do it.
Yes.
Right now I have the money, so I probably will start doing it soon. But still, like, I mean, still I haven't really done anything yet.
Okay, no problem.
In Japan, my best trip I ever had was when I was here as a exchange student in 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
I went in March of 2015 to Osaka, to Hiroshima, to Kobe, and to Kyoto.
Oh, nice.
Was like almost like a week, and I think has been the best trip I ever had. I went with some friends. I went to I went to Hiroshima,
Yes.
to Miyajima, and it's when I conquered Japan. That's what I say.
Yes.
I have a good story there. So yeah, in that trip I went to like it was really fun because going to Japan, if you are living in Japan,
Yes.
you don't have most opportunities to travel cheap. You have to pay bus, you have to pay Shinkansen, basically on the complete price. But there is a cheaper way that is called the Seishun Juhachi Kippu.
Oh.
This is a ticket from the JR company. JR JR basically is divided in many companies. Let's say JR East, JR West, JR Central, JR Hokkaido.
Yeah.
All of them are independent. But when comes like seasons, like for example summer vacations, winter vacations, or spring vacations,
Yes.
they they have a ticket where you can use unlimited during
Yes.
5 days
Yes.
or
Yes.
5 stamps.
Yes.
So that this one is really really good when you want to travel and you cannot apply for the Japan Red Pass or any other discounts.
Yes.
So I used that one and I went from Sendai to Osaka in one day.
Yes.
It took us, with me and a friend, we both bought like each one a ticket. It took us around 16 hours by
Wow.
local trains,
Yes.
but it was worth it because in the end we arrived there and basically with only just getting to Osaka, we already paid the price of the ticket.
Okay. Nice.
So we still had other four tickets. We went then later to Hiroshima, then from Hiroshima back to Osaka, 1 day trip in Kyoto, and then like the way back to Sendai. Maybe like just doing all those, maybe it's like 50,000 yen
Yes.
in local trains,
Yes.
but I only pay 11,000.
Oh. How often is this ticket? I mean, well, it's seasons, right? But
Yeah, in there are 3 periods. The first period is in December. Let's say from December the 1st to, well, that's the winter one. December the 1st to January the 10th.
okay.
The second one is from March the 1st to April the 10th. And that's the spring one. And the summer one is from July the 1st until September the 10th. I might be mistaken, but usually are those 3 periods. The summer one is longer because, well, more people travel around summer.
Yes. Yes.
So they only have like from July to September.
Okay. All
Or maybe even from August to October. I don't remember right now, but I think
right.
it's from July.
Okay. Well, just
Probably in the
give us the name
Mhm.
one more time, and I'm sure we can do the research ourselves. What's the name one more time?
It's
Slowly.
the Seishun Juhachi Kippu Seishun 18 ticket.
Okay. Seishun
Seishun
18.
8.
Seishun
Yeah, yeah.
18 ticket.
Seishun means like young adult,
Yes.
but everybody can buy it. Like they you can buy it in the in only in the what they call the Midori Madoguchi, like the normal gates, like the normal uh, ticket counters on the JR stations,
Okay.
because it's a special one, so you only can buy it there. But like if you are in Sendai or you are in any place around Japan, like probably the biggest station close by, you will have one if it's a JR station, so you can buy it there without no
Okay.
problem inside those periods.
All right. Excellent. Thank you for that. So, I mean, where is on your bucket list?
Oh, my bucket list.
Yes. Places to travel.
In Japan, I want to go to a place called Shirakawa Go.
Yes.
Have you heard of that?
No, I've never heard of it.
It's a place that is a World Heritage place because of the houses over there. It's inside Gifu Prefecture, like really, really far away from many places.
Yes.
So that's why it's difficult to access. But it's a really, really, really beautiful place. I fell in love with those houses. It's really, really different from the traditional Japanese house, but still really traditional. It's
Okay.
a old town. I want to go there.
All right. Shiwa,
Other
Shiwakawa Go.
Chirakawa Go. It's like that.
Shirakawa Go.
Chirakawa Go
All right.
in Gifu Prefecture. Like,
Put up now. So we have maybe about 2 or 3 more questions. Is Japan your last stop?
wow, that's a good question. I must say, I love this place,
Yes.
but I don't want to say I will stay here forever because life is really strange.
Yes.
And right now, because for example, I'm going with a German company, so who knows if this German company want me to go to Germany for a while.
Yes.
But definitely, I will always want to come back.
Okay.
That's for
Good.
sure.
All
Like
right.
my heart is in Japan.
I understand. All right. Excellent. I like that. And where, as I said, I only have a couple more questions. So now let's do some rapid fire, some
Mhm.
association, word association. So when I say the word, you tell me what comes to mind. All right. The first one is
Okay,
future.
Tokyo.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to Saitama, so yeah, I'm going to Tokyo, so it's going to be exciting, I think.
Okay, good. I like it. Japan.
Life.
Okay. Travel.
Excitement.
Okay. Life.
Japan.
Okay. Smart boy.
That was easy.
I hear you, right. And
Yeah.
the last one is Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. The problem is I don't use much Instagram.
So I don't
I
either.
have my Instagram.
Yes.
I have my Instagram, but I don't really use it that much. I prefer to keep my Facebook, but it's like kind of personal. So in this case, I think better to use Sendai Tourist Information Desk.
Okay.
Like
All right.
like if you want contact me, I will probably like you can say, hey, I hear you on Ryan's program
Yes.
in Global Insiders,
Yes.
and I can probably reply to you.
All right.
So yeah, because if it's like too personal, it can be a little bit complicated.
Definitely.
so
Definitely. Definitely. Definitely.
so yeah,
So if persons want to keep in contact with you, they can get you at the Sendai Tourist Desk.
Tourist Information Desk, Sendai
Sendai
Tourist
Tourist
Information Desk.
Information Desk.
Yes, like we have Instagram there too. I actually use more the Instagram from the Sendai Tourist Information Desk rather than mine.
Okay.
In Instagram, it's called I Sendai Stuff.
I Sendai stuff.
Yeah, that's the one for us. And the Facebook page is the Sendai Tourist Information Desk, and the URL is basically like Facebook. In Facebook, our web page is yeah, like slash like www.facebook.com/isendai.
Okay.
So basically, it's like iSendai or iSendai staff or Sendai Tourist Information Desk, and I'm gladly to especially like answer all your questions. If it turns a little bit more personal, then probably I will change to my personal accounts. But if you have more like general knowledge about Sendai or stuff like that, or not like that personal, then I gladly will reply you from there from the iSendai stuff.
Okay. Great stuff. Thank you very much, Gustavo. And yes. Anything else you want to say to the insiders before you go?
Well, I made my dream come true.
Yes.
I fought a long battle. Like if you have any idea of what happened in Venezuela, it's kind of rough.
Yes.
So I
Do you
think,
want to talk about that a little?
yeah, well, like right now the situation is really bad. The political situation is tough. The economical situation is tough. So if you want to know more, it's like what we all Venezuelans say, ask a Venezuelan.
Yes.
Like the future of our country is at risk because of a tyrant government that has been like oppressing the people.
Yes.
A lot of people have died in protest. A lot of people have died without medicine,
Yes.
and it's really tough. So I really, if you want to know more, even if it sounds like exaggerated, like the news, sometimes the news can say like the truth also. So like try to look at around, and especially the most important thing is ask a Venezuelan if you want to know more.
Yes.
And there are Venezuelans anywhere. Like right now, the biggest migration in the world right now is happening in Venezuela.
Yes.
People walking from my country to Colombia, to Ecuador, to Peru, to Argentina. That's basically on the other side of the continent.
Yes.
They're walking, just fleeing away. We might become over 5 million people fleeing the country
Wow.
in since 2015.
Yes.
So even Syria migration is like this hasn't been this bad in recently. So Venezuela is kind of like the worst migration right now in these past few years.
Okay. How about your family?
They are fine. I think they try to hide a little bit more the situations so I don't get like that worried.
Yes.
But I think they're fine. That's one of the reasons I work. I send money to them
Yes.
every month. I try to send them a little bit. So yeah, like especially the economy is so bad that basically like hard currency like dollars are more valuable than the usual currency of Venezuela that are the bolivares.
Yes.
So yeah, like having money from outside is better.
Okay. Well, Gustavo, thank you very much for coming
Hmm.
on the show. Really appreciate it. And,
Yeah,
all the
thank you
best for
very
the
much,
future.
Ryan.
Yeah. No problem.
Oh well, and the last message I wanted to say,
Yes,
because I
please
changed
go
a little
ahead.
bit the topic, but
Yes, go ahead.
as the last message, I think most important is like be 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 nuts. Like don't stop believing in what you want
Yeah.
and be persistent. That's the most important thing. Like I couldn't be here. I couldn't be doing what I'm doing if I haven't been persistent. People will say no. People say, "Well, you're crazy." People will make fun of you. But in the end, if you are happy as I am right now,
Yeah.
like even if it's coming to Japan or it's just doing your own dreams or crazy dreams, of course, not affecting other people,
Yes, of
but
course. Of course.
but if you can fulfill your dreams and it may come true, then definitely you're going to live a happy life like I'm living right now.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Thanks for listening today. I hope you are inspired. You can find more helpful and motivational material at globalinsidersgroup.com. That is, insiders with an S. You can also keep in touch at Global Insiders on Instagram. See you next time, but remember, you can be your own superhero. Bye.